conference will now be recorded.
Can you hear me again?
Yes, I can hear you. Thanks for signing back in.
I don't know what happened, but
Okay.
So your
the
PSA dropped to 0.7 after your CyberKnife treatment of your prostate, but it relatively quickly bounced back up again, right?
Right. And that went on for a few years. And then back in October of 2023, after the PSA had been 1.5 the summer before, jumped up to 1.9. And the CyberKnife doctors thought something was wrong. So I got a PSMA PET scan
Oh, good. Okay.
in October of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And that showed that the cancer had returned. They also found a small tumor in a nearby lymph node.
Apparently,
So the cancer returned in the prostate bed and one lymph node.
Right.
And that was a pelvic lymph node, or where was it?
Yeah, pelvic. And then they kept checking my PSA. And the PSA went from 1.9 up to 3.4 in December and almost 6 at the end of February. And at that point, they said that I needed to get hormone therapy because they thought the cancer was aggressive and surgery or radiation wouldn't be enough to control it.
Okay, so we're up to February of what year now? 2025?
2024.
24, okay. Okay,
Right.
so February in 2024, do you go on hormone treatment at that point?
Yeah, the following March.
Okay, what did you go on?
It's abiraterone and leuprolide.
Okay. And radiation? No, or just the hormone treatment?
Just the hormone treatment.
Okay. And this
By
time,
August, sorry.
Go ahead.
By August of last year, the PSA had gone down to less than 0.01. So it was considered to be undetectable.
Excellent. So you got a good response out of your hormone treatment. Now we're up to about a year ago and a couple of months. And how has the course been since then?
The PSA has stayed below 0.01, and my next test will be at the end of October.
Okay. And are you having any problems being on the hormone treatment?
I have hot flashes, maybe 1 or 2 per day, and there's sexual stuff like
you're not getting laid, man.
Not having any spontaneous erections anymore, and I can have orgasms, but of course they're completely dry.
Why are they completely dry? You never had, you had your prostate ablated with the CyberKnife.
There you go.
Right.
Okay. So right at this particular point, you're having unpleasant but tolerable side effects, and your disease is in remission.
Right.
Who do you have?
I feel mostly fine. There are no restrictions on what I can do.
Okay. Who's your doc?
It's Dr. Edward Gelman at Banner Health.
Is that a urologist or an oncologist?
Oncologist.
Okay. And let's see, you already told me, are you a veteran by any chance?
No.
And how's your how are your lifestyle coping habits? In other words, do you exercise? Could your diet use improvement? Do you have friends and a social support system, or then is your mood okay?
My mood is okay. I mean, I do have friends. I mean, I do a lot of walking. Like I average around 20,000 steps a day, according to my activity watch. And yeah, I think my diet is pretty good. At least my blood tests always come out well. With
Good.
low cholesterol and good HDL and LDL numbers and so forth.
Any other complicating medical illnesses, diabetes or degenerative diseases or chronic illness?
No, nothing else.
Okay. And what brought you to us at this particular stable time in your treatment?
Mainly, I just wanted to get more information, see what other people's experiences are, and get any
Okay.
advice on things like getting gene analysis or whatever, or any advice on what else I should be doing to help my situation.
Okay. Well, why don't we give the gentleman what he's asking for? Any information, shared experiences, advices about gene therapy, gene testing? What have you guys been through that you can relate to Tillman? If nobody jumps in, I'll have to tell them about myself. Oh, Dennis, how about you? you got him here.
I got.
Did you meet Tillman in Tucson, Dennis?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
good.
a fellow Porsche Club member.
Oh, Porsche Club.
Yeah. And Tillman, you're currently on the ADT regime right now? You still on the ADT actively, or did you stop?
Yes, I'm on that regime.
He's got now 1 3/4 years approximately on ADT.
Yeah.
Did you and your doctor figure out a target for how long to stay on ADT?
No, I mean, he's always saying it's going to be for the rest of my life, but I've heard
Does
other
he?
people like Dennis say that, there are people who have taken a break for 2 years and done fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's something you'll learn a lot about as time goes by. We have gentlemen in here who have been staying continuously for a period of time, and a number of gentlemen who have taken a break after a couple of years, particularly if their disease is very stable, as yours is at the present time. Len?
Yes.
Yeah, since you asked for comments, John, I'd say that Tillman is doing fantastically well. 1 3/4 on double hormone therapy, and you're still having orgasms. That's pretty damn good. And 20,000 steps a day, fantastic. Undetectable PSA, it all looks good to me. I wish you had, or your doctor had, maybe done the oh no, you couldn't have. Yeah, maybe started you on hormone therapy a little sooner, but it looks like it made up for lost ground, and you responded so well. You're doing really good.
Yeah, in retrospect, it would have been nice if you went on a couple of years before, but it wasn't known at the time that you had metastatic disease or that your disease would progress. So I agree with Len. This is an enviable course of treatment.
Thank you.
Paul?
Just a question about bone health. Are you being monitored with a DEXA scan or having any bone protective agents?
No, I mean, I asked my doctor about bone scans, and he said he might do one in 4 or 5 years. Seems to me it ought to be sooner.
Yeah, well, yeah, a bone scan and a DEXA scan, somewhat different, and maybe they're both lumped into the same idea, but the DEXA is specifically for osteoporosis versus looking for any cancer, vertebral or other bone abnormalities. So I kind of ask him, because ADT will begin to work on your bones in an adverse way, and you don't want to twist and trip and fracture a hip.
Right. So what is that scan called again?
DEXA, DEXA.
Okay.
Ideally, you would have had one at the beginning that we could compare, but if you have one now, it'll tell us whether you are developing bones that are thin enough to address it with calcium or vitamin D or even some bone strengthening medications.
Right. Yeah, I am taking vitamin D almost every day.
How much?
I would have to look that up. It's
Okay, and it might be
500
worth,
milligrams.
because you now being on Lupron are at risk for thinning bones. I think it would be reasonable for you to take maybe 500 milligrams of calcium a couple of times a day.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Len, your hand is still up. Is that because I didn't lower it, or do you have another comment?
Another comment, John. Thank you.
Yeah.
If I heard correctly, Dr. Paul was asking if Tillman had any bone strengthening agents, and I was wondering, maybe it's my misunderstanding. I thought that they were only brought into therapy when you have bone metastases, but I could be wrong about that. Would you like to comment, Dr. Paul?
Well, when there are different programs with regard to the intervals and the dosage of the bone protective agents, and the lower dose Prolia is given less frequently, specifically for osteoporosis with ADT without evidence of bone metastases. When you have bone metastases, you up the frequency and the dose to Xgeva, and so they're both the same denosumab, but different dose schedules and dose amounts depending upon the situation. So if a DEXA scan showed osteoporosis or a loss of, we don't have a comparative, but some loss of bone, then that's a consideration. A lower dose for protection in metastatic negative bone.
Right. And Len, I'll add to that I was put on 28 months with Lupron, and they did a DEXA scan right at the beginning, and I was borderline osteoporotic, minus 2.4 in the spine. And so even though I was only micrometastatic, I got 3 infusions of Zometa over 2 years. So it's really, just like Dr. Paul said, it's really contingent on the results of that DEXA scan. And Tillman, you can insist on a DEXA scan, which is a scan to determine your bone strength, not to see if you have metastasis in your bone.
Okay.
Yeah,
I will do that.
What Rick is explaining there to you is that there are different kinds of scans of your bones. And the DEXA scan that Dr. Paul was talking about will tell us if your bones are thinning out too much in the absence of testosterone. Have you ever gotten a testosterone level taken?
No. I mean, another doctor recommended that, and I asked my oncologist about that, and he said that it's not necessary or whatever, but I can ask him again or go to a different doctor.
Your oncologist is a little on the conservative side. It's since we know that your cancer is not progressing or growing, then it is reasonable to be fairly conservative. For example, you got on ADT after a delay. You haven't had any DEXA scans, and we don't know your testosterone level either before or after treatment. And we tend to be a little bit more proactive on these things. I think it's not necessary to know your testosterone level. After all, we know your PSA is non-detectable, so your testosterone level is probably nearly the same. But we do like to follow it along, especially if sometime in the future you get yourself on a holiday from medications. It will be very interesting to follow your testosterone levels after you go off the medications. And then as far as gene testing, there's a couple different kinds of gene testing. There's the kind that we inherit from our parents. You had a father with prostate cancer, and there are some genetic abnormalities that carry with them a risk of prostate disease, and they have some prognostic abilities in that they can predict whether you're likely to face an aggressive prostate cancer or not in the future. So having a genetic test, it's pretty simple to do. You can get it by a cheek swab, and it'll tell us whether you've inherited anything and also whether you can pass anything down to your children if you have any.
Yeah,
There's another type of testing where they test the cancer itself to see if it has a particular driving mutation that's not shared by the rest of your body. That's usually not done in the case of somebody with intermittent or low-risk cancer, but you do have one abnormal lymph node, and it could justify doing that kind of testing too, although they'd have to go back and use samples all the way back from 2019. So it seems like a lower priority, but also something that could be argued for. Rick, do you know Dr. Galliman at Banner?
No, but what I do, I've actually put my hand up. What I do know is that, did you say Galliman?
Yeah.
Gellman, it's G-E-L-M-A.
Yeah, I do know Gallman. He is a GU medical oncologist. He's never really impressed me, to be honest.
How to change startup page on
If
Microsoft
I'm
Edge.
thinking, can people please mute if you're not participating? You mentioned you'd be willing to travel. It's a problem in Tucson. We really don't have any quality GU medical oncologists. I think there's really only one. I think that's the guy you're seeing. I would suggest that you think about shifting your quarterback care to Phoenix, where there are a couple of decent options. I've put Dr. Bryce's name in the chat window. If you know, the chat window are the two little squares next to where it says 36 at the top of the screen. You can open that. You can click on that link. It'll open. Alan Bryce used to be the chief medical oncologist at Mayo in Phoenix, and he switched a couple of years ago to go over to City of Hope in Phoenix, and he'd be my preferred choice in Phoenix right now. And
Okay.
given that you haven't had a DEXA scan, nobody's measured your testosterone, just from the little bit I've heard, and again, sorry guys that I had to go out. It was me that closed the room. I'm so sorry about that. But I got the other meeting straightened out. I apologize. But I would probably make an appointment to see Dr. Bryce and think about having him run your care. Dennis Correa, who's in the group right now, lives here in Tucson, and he uses a GU medical oncologist, a different one in Phoenix. And it's very doable. And if you need more complex treatment, they will coordinate between Phoenix and Tucson, and you can get it done at Banner or Arizona Oncology. But that's what I would, if it were me, that's what I'd be doing.
Yeah, I'll try that. Thank you.
Yeah, the Arizona Oncology is now part of TMC here in Tucson. And that's what I'm doing. I have, a associate of Dr. Singh at Mayo that is with TMC, who I see on my every 3 months regular basis for routine blood work. I know he will work with somebody in Tucson for your routine stuff. And as a minimum, then if things stay steady, you probably don't need to see him unless once a year, which is pretty much what I'm doing.
Yeah, my recommendation would be to use Alan Bryce as your quarterback as opposed to Dr. Singh. And I'm sure that he'll work with somebody down there, maybe at TMC, maybe at Banner, if need be. And Alan Bryce knows me and he knows AnCan, so just tell him that we referred you up there, and I think you'll get a positive response. He's very smart. He's a good doc.
Great, thank you.
John, you're muted.
How often are you getting your PSA taken, Tillman?
Every 12 weeks.
Okay. Steve, do you want to ask the last question, and then I'll turn it back over to Rick for our next new guy?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the testosterone. I think if it were me, I'd want to have testosterone checked every time I had the PSA checked. I mean, presumably you're taking 2 drugs to lower your testosterone. So it's a good reading of whether the 2 drugs are working, and potentially maybe only 1 drug is needed to keep your testosterone low. And you'll also probably find a pattern. If your testosterone starts rising while you're on both of the drugs, you may determine sooner rather than later that one or the other of the drugs are not working as well, and you may want to start planning your next cause of action.
Okay. I'll do that.
Rick, I think you got another new guy to get to.
Yes, we do. And again, sorry, guys. Apologies again.
Everybody jumped right back immediately. They knew just what to do. So
no, I was a little confused. We ran this moderator training last week, and we said to everybody, the lead moderator's in charge of opening the room. The instructions are there. I'm not going to go through it. If you have any questions, call Bill Franklin. And the moderator of this new group that we're running side by side with this group slipped right over it. And of course, the room never got opened. So not your problem, but it was my problem. And thanks for bearing with me. So Eric, can we hear you?
Yes.
Great.
I don't know. Can you hear me? That's the question.
Yes, we can hear you. I'm sorry you've had so much trouble getting into the meeting and the technical stuff, but now you've figured out how to do it. We will be fine. Just before we get to you, did anybody ask Tillman how he came to us and if we have his email?
He did come to us through Dennis, and I did not ask for his email. No. Can you give it to us, Tillman, or put it into the chat?
Tillman, we take your email so that we can send you a reminder before every meeting. And so we'd love to have it. We'll sign you up for the reminder. You can either put it in the chat to me or the organizers directly. You can put it in openly if you want other people to contact you, or you can go onto our website and contact us and you can fill it in yourself. But one way or the other, we'd love to have it so that we can keep supporting you. So,
I can give it to you now.
okay, go ahead. If you just, can you put it in the chat, or would you like me to take it down?
Yeah, just try the chat. I didn't see how to enter anything there. Oh, yeah, I can. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Eric, excuse me. Now I know we have your email because I saw it, Meta or something like that. I thought it was a very cool email. How did you find us?
A man I met in another prostate support group gave me, I must have met him in person as well. Another man gave me the reference, the referral.
Okay. And I think you're already getting a reminder, so you signed up. So how old are you?
65.
65. And where do you live?
Santa Cruz, California.
Ah, yes. Okay, that explains your email. And I'm looking to see if there's any other Californians in here who get that. Yeah, Marky gets that joke. What year were you first diagnosed?
Last year, 2024.
2024. And at the time of diagnosis, what was your PSA level?
I think it got up to about 7-ish, 7 or 8.
Okay. And what was your Gleason score from the biopsy at the time of diagnosis?
3 + 4.
Ooh. Okay. Where were you being treated at that time when you started off on this journey?
I was in Oakland, California.
Okay. And what, were you a Kaiser patient there?
I was at Kaiser. Yes, I was.
Oh, what a surprise. And who was your urologist there?
Dr. YU in Oakland.
Yeah. Okay. So, what treatment did you select?
The first treatment I selected was surgery.
Okay. With Dr. Yu, I'm assuming.
Correct.
And what were the results of that first treatment?
They removed the prostate. They discovered cribriform glands. And there was cancer at the bladder neck.
Okay, we know a little bit about that.
There was no cancer that had, at least as far as the sampling goes, no cancer spread to lymph nodes or anything like that.
Right. And that cribriform was not identified by the Kaiser pathologist?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, when they discovered that you were a 3+4 after that first biopsy, did that biopsy report cribriform?
No, that only came out when they took the prostate out.
Okay. Was there anything else in that 3+4 remarkable that you recall?
Just the cribriform glands, and it was at the bladder neck. That was what was remarkable.
That's at the surgery, but at the time of the time, and you didn't get a second reading of the pathology on the biopsy, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So once they figured out that you had cancer in the bladder neck, what happened next? How did they follow up on that, or how did you follow up on it?
Well, the first PSA reading 3 months after or 6 weeks after surgery was very good. It was 0.1 or less, not detectable. The next one after that was 0.1 and then 0.183. So it was rising rather quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It was low, but rising quickly. So I was encouraged to get radiation, which I did. I was
Still with
also
Kaiser.
encouraged. No, I'm sorry. So so the surgery was in December of last year.
Right.
Even though I had already moved to Santa Cruz, my Kaiser doctor was still willing to perform the surgery. And then sometime around April 1st, I switched to a new system down here in Santa Cruz.
First.
April 1st, yes.
Wow. I did. Shit.
Okay, Jeff Markey, can you please mute? Thank you. So around 4-1 you switched, and who took over your care at that point that you knew you had a rising PSA? Because I'm assuming these PSAs were sort of run every month, it looks like. It sounds
At
like.
first, they were like the first one was 6 weeks, and then another 6 weeks. And then because I was leaving the Kaiser system, they stuck me in a little bit early, and that's when I got the I got an extra reading. Maybe that was the 0.1, and then maybe a month or two later was the 0.1. No, it was 3 months later. 3 months later was the 0.183. So the fact that it almost doubled in 3 months, that was a little bit troubling.
Yep. And who did you select to talk to as a radiation oncologist?
Dr. Meisel, Meisel.
And is he with a local group, or is he associated with a center of excellence?
He's like PAMF, PAMF, for Palo Alto Medical something or other, or Sutter. He's with the Sutter system.
Oh, okay. Now we have to be careful what we say.
But Rick, the Palo Alto guys should be excellent.
Yes, I know, but they could be, but they're not always, because we have experience. But yes. So in full disclosure,
it's Palo Alto Medical Foundation, but I'm not seeing him in Palo Alto. He's a local doctor down here in Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Right. So
there used to be another group called the Santa Cruz Medical Clinic, and they're part of PAMP now.
Right. In case you're wondering, Dr. Alfredo at one time was the chief medical officer of SATA. So that's why we had to say, now we have to be careful, okay? And tell me how Dr. Meisel addressed your case.
Well, at first he said, well, first of all, my other doctor before him said, well, we can't do anything yet because your numbers are so low, but we can't even locate it. Like you can't even do whatever it is, a PET scan or a CAT scan. That's what my original urologist down here said. And then, but somehow I've still got a referral to see Dr. Meisel, and he said, oh no, I know exactly where it is. It's right where the prostate used to be, and there's a greater than 90% chance that I can just take care of it. Boom, But since then, he's backed off of those numbers. He hasn't, he hasn't like contradicted himself, but he's become more equivocal. At any rate, he was initially encouraging radiation and hormone therapy, and I initially resisted the hormone therapy. And then my other doctor said, well, combining them is the standard of care. And then I went, uh-oh. And then I did some more research, and then I decided, well, I better get on the hormone treatment as well. So I didn't start it when they would have recommended, which would have been at the same time. I started the hormone treatment maybe 3 weeks or 4 weeks into the radiation treatment.
How many radiation sessions did Mizell prescribe?
38, and and I just finished last Friday.
Okay. And what hormone therapy did he place you on?
Orgovix.
Only Orgovix, no secondary, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, which is actually, yes, the standard of care, although we like the doctors who try to get you a second one, but unless you have lymph node involvement, they tend not to use a second one. We've been through that a few times here. How long have you been on the Orgovix now?
A month and a half.
Okay, and how are you doing on? How are you faring?
So we talk about I can tell you about the radiation, although that's done. The Orgovix, I have hot flashes. If you may have already seen me taking off and putting on my shirt several times, if you're paying attention, because there's all these people on the screen, you might not have noticed. But I definitely have hot flashes, and from my knees down, my lower legs, they tend to get cold easily, and that's a nuisance. That's only since I've started taking the Orgovix. They get colder, my feet get tired, and that's also brand new. That's also just related to Orgovix.
All right. How much exercise are you doing?
I walk 50 minutes every day, and I've been doing that for years. And energetically, I feel fine. I do not feel, I'll tell you my symptoms if you ask, but they're like energetically, I feel fine.
Okay. When you walk for that 15 minutes,
50.
Oh, 50. When you walk for that 50 minutes, do you raise your heart rate?
I do. Most of it's flat, but there are little hills.
Okay, so the exercise that we try to point people to raises that heart rate for a good 20 minutes. That's where the benefit comes in.
So you mean like walking uphill?
Well, raising your heart rate, whatever that takes. So if you're 65, your maximum heart rate is 155. And where we want to see, what we would like to see is a heart rate of about 120 for at least 20 minutes, ideally. That's what's going to get you the benefit. 80% of 155 is where the benefit comes on, provided you have no other, medical comorbidities that would interfere with that.
I don't, but I don't know how to measure those things. I don't have any of these fancy watches or whatever that's going to measure my heart rate. But if you just tell me to walk uphill fast for 20 minutes, then I'll do it. But other than that, it's a little bit too vague for me to know what exactly you're suggesting.
Okay, well, we'll let some of the other guys come into that. We're not going to take a heck of a lot more time, but we'll let some of the other guys come into it. As far as the hot flashes, one of the things we like to recommend are Embr watches, which you can, if you look at the bottom, Jeff Marchi, who has his hand up, is showing you that gizmo around his wrist. They're effective for probably 3/4 of the men who buy them. For the rest of them, they're not so effective, but they will certainly help you control the hot flashes and the shivers during the day, and they also have a night setting, and they really work. Jeff Marchi has his hand up, so he will talk to you. Any other issues you'd like to raise?
I'm just not sure how worried to be. Like I know that the cribriform glands, mean that the cancer is more aggressive than it would be otherwise, and the fact that the cancer was at the bladder neck. There was also cancer in the little, I don't know, it wasn't called the nerve endings, but right at the right at the edge of the prostate and the little, I don't know what it was.
So if your doc, do you know what type of what pattern of radiation Dr. Mizell used? Did he radiate across your whole pelvic girdle, or did he just radiate the bed and the bladder neck, or did he use a rabbit ear pattern? Do you know what he did?
I don't know. I think it was just the prostate bed. I have Crohn's, so he tried to stay away from where he thought the Crohn's would be.
Okay. By the way, with the pathology that they did after your surgery, did they confirm 3+4, or did they raise you to a higher level?
They didn't raise me, but they said somebody said the cribriforms automatically raised something or other, but I'm not sure what the cribriforms did.
Well, it raises the cell to a 4. But if they left you at a 3+4, there wasn't enough cribriform to outweigh the 3. So
yeah, they did not change. I've not been told that I was made to say, for example, a 4+3. Nobody's ever said that.
Okay. So let me throw it out to everybody, and then we'll get, and then we've got to take about 5 minutes, and then we'll start moving into the people that need time. Jeff Markey, go ahead.
Yeah, as for getting your pulse up, I'll be 78 in 3 weeks, and I run 1 mile twice a day. I run the whole time. I was on my treadmill yesterday because it was raining. I ran it at 3.7. To count your pulse, stopwatch, 10 seconds, count how many beats and multiply it times 6.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, another thing, cribriform. Did they tell you if it was large cribriform?
It did not, and I went back and I reread it, and it does not say large. It just says cribriform.
All right, because if you want to ask them if it's large, that actually UCSF changes it to a 5 for your Gleason. If it's regular cribriform, it actually is. If you had surgery, it's almost irrelevant. If you had radiation, it's another factor. But my brother had it, and 3 years ago, they specifically said small, and he's had no issues as a result. This device, the Embr Wave, the company is EMBRLABS.com, and it is really helpful at night. You can
EMBR, what comes after
EMBR Labs, LABS.
Yeah.
I put the link in the chat. There's a link to this.
Eric, if you open the chat, do you know how to do that?
I saw it before. I'll figure it out. I'll do it later.
So it's in the chat. All these, the link is in the chat. You can just click on the link and it'll open in your browser, or you can download with those 3 little dots.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, I see it now. Thank you. I see it.
It's really helpful, especially at night. Are you getting hot flashes at night? Finding the sheet of wet under you?
I'm not getting a wet sheet. It's not that bad.
All right, because it has a great night mode. There's 2 buttons. You can set one for night and one for day. The hot flashes during the day, if they're really severe, you've got to hit the button really early, and it will only make them a little milder. If they're not that severe, if you're not sweating all over your head down into your eyes, then it'll work quite well.
Good. Yeah,
and there is a 60-day money-back guarantee.
Great.
So if it doesn't work for you, you can get your money back.
Yeah. And then there are other remedies too. Acupuncture works quite well for a lot of people. That might be something that you could try. There are some drug remedies, but let's try these other things first if we can avoid it.
I'm not too concerned about the hot flashes. They're an inconvenience, but I'm more concerned about the cancer,
Okay, I get you, and hopefully we'll see how you do. You've got to keep watching it. Unfortunately, how long are they leaving you on the Orgovyx for? What do they recommend?
he said probably 4 months, maybe 6.
Yeah, I mean, I get that because you're a 3+4, so you'll come off, and then we'll see where you are. So you just got to be monitoring. John Maxwell put something in the chat window to me, but really it should be for everybody. I think, John, this is it's better to put these things in for everybody. And I will just recopy. He uses, John, you want to talk quickly about your experience with the Embr? No, now we can't hear you, Mr. Maxwell.
Okay, hold on. Here we go.
Yes, we got you. Now we got you.
Okay, very good. Technology is hard. I use the Embr Wave. It's terrific. I love it. It's best at night. But I really got the full benefit after using it about 30 days. My body had to learn it a little bit. So very happy with it. So I echo Jeff Markey. That's all.
Thank
you. Okay, thank you. So anybody else have anything that they would like to address with Eric? John Marshall, Jim Marshall.
Yes, Eric, are you a veteran?
No.
No. Thank you very much.
Okay. Do we have anybody else? No. So Eric, the best we can say is keep coming back because the technology will be easier next time. That much I can guarantee. We'll help you. We'll work with you on all of the side effects. We'll be with you when you come off of the hormone therapy. And if you have any side effects from the radiation, we can guide you on that. Dr. John, you have your hand up.
Yeah, Eric, is it okay with you if I have your last name, just because Eric seems to be the most common name in our whole group. In fact, don't name your sons Eric, guys, or they'll get prostate cancer. Is it okay if I have your last name?
Sure, Kaufman, Kaufman.
Thank you.
Have you done any genetic testing, Eric?
When I was at Kaiser, they did some, and they didn't see any signs of anything passed down genetically.
Okay. Okay. All right. You have the last word. Anything else you'd like to bring up?
Just a generic question. How concerned should I be? Like how does this play out over the course of time? And the funny, like I feel fine. It's really strange. I mean, I wear diapers. I'm completely incontinent, and I'll probably get surgery for that. And I have the hot flashes, and there are still consequences of the radiation. Around after defecation, it feels like my rectum has been wrung out like a sponge. But these are like short-term considerations. They're not long-term considerations. This funny thing is, I feel fine energetically. I feel fine.
Okay, so I'm going to let Dr. John, since he relates to some of the things you just said, I'm going to let him respond to you and also talk to you about the prospects. Go ahead, John.
Particularly in terms of the incontinence, I had the same problem and did end up having surgery for it. Typically, they'll give you a year after your radical prostatectomy to see if you heal on your own, and that's only a couple of months from now. Was there something else you wanted me to comment on?
Yeah, I mean, what are the prospects for somebody with 3+4 and
well, we learned from Dr. Epstein just only a few days ago that generally speaking, a person with 3+4 gets radiation therapy and does not even need ADT. You are therefore getting treated actively and vigorously and possibly even a little more than is necessary, but you're going to be on it for a short term. So it looks to us like you're, you know, getting treated quite actively. And what's your most recent PSA? Still undetectable? Oh, no.
No, it's 0.183, and I'm going to be doing it again in about 4 weeks because they wanted to wait till after the radiation was done.
Yeah. 0.183. Okay. It would be nice if we could see that go into the non-detectable range while you're on Orgovix.
And
it
the
may happen. It takes time.
yeah. How concerning are the? Okay, I can let it go. All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
If you were about to ask how concerned you could be about the cribiform, we cannot answer that question without actually seeing what type of cribiform you have.
Thank you.
All right. So let's move into people that need time. We have 6, so we should be fine. And I'm going to take them in pretty much in the order that they arrived in the room. So we're going to start with Ed. What was on your mind today, Ed?
Just to let you know about an update, I finished 38 sessions of radiation yesterday, so that was a good thing. PSA last check was a week ago, and that was less than 0.014. Testosterone is down to 7.50. I've got 2 more Firmagon injections left, and they're possibly talking switching it to another 18 months rather than stopping it at the 6 month.
Mm-hmm.
They're waiting to get my Decipher score in, because they never did a Decipher score. MSK was doing an impact study, but Smilo requested a Decipher score from them. So we're waiting on that. And that's going to be the deciding factor whether to go the 24 months or stop at the 6 months.
And they're going to base that on the Decipher score. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Have they done any other sort of testing, Ed?
Just regular blood tests.
You did a germline test, right?
Yes.
I'm just trying to pull up my notes on you. But I can never get your last name spelt right, and so I never find you. That's the problem. I'll have to
LE.
It's okay. I'll get you later. So you did a germline. It was negative. Have they ever done any somatic testing on you?
No.
I mean, I think it's worth a discussion just to see if they see anything in there. I guess I mean, what do the rest of you guys think? I mean, how do we figure out what was your final pathology, Gleason pathology from your surgery?
Oh, I'm going to step in here.
Yes, come on in. We always like it when you come by, you know that.
Thank you. So the final pathology, the post-surgical pathology.
Yes.
So let me see here. I'm just jotting down. Oh, here it is. Well, he has intraductal.
Right.
It does state there's cribriform glands applicable to Gleason 7 or 8 cancer only.
Okay.
He also was, let me see, just what other things should I be looking at
He
here?
was 4+4.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And then he got a later pathology in 2023 that came out 4+3.
That was, let's see, the biopsy he had before surgery was then checked by Dr. Jonathan Epstein, and we have that report, and then we have the report from post-surgical, pathology, which was March 2023.
And that post-surgical pathology gave you a 4+4, correct?
Rick, I think that the surgical pathology was 4+3 plus cribiform and intraductal, and that the original biopsy pathology was 4+4 plus cribiform and intraductal.
I'm looking at the from the Epstein's. I do see a 4+4, grade group 4, in 2 cores, 100% intraductal identified. There were
but when was that, Lisa? Was that
that was 1 month? That was 1 month before the surgery.
Okay, so the surgical pathology is definitive because the biopsy is just a sample. So even though Epstein, and that's what I was going to ask you, was the final pathology ever sent to Epstein or not?
No.
Okay. No. So we have to figure you're a 4+3. But you're a T3A. Yes. The issue is that, and I get what's going on here. The standard of care is now 6 months when they do salvage. Back in the day, it was really based on your staging. And I still think, personally, it should be based on the staging and not on the more recent trials, because I think it does change from person to person. And so you've got a good doc there who's saying, well, I'm not so comfortable with the 6 months. Maybe I want to extend it. And he's saying that because you're T3A and your cribiform and all the rest of it. I'm just not sure what other markers we could look at, and probably Decipher's as good as any to try and determine, should we give you longer? Dr. Paul, what do you make of this, and how would you decide how back in the day, you remember the day when you had these 4+4 and 4+5 guys, they got 2 years or even 3 years, no matter what. Remember?
Yes, but then the trials began to show the benefit as not being as pronounced as you would like. So that the field really shifted to whether your PSA, you remember, was greater than 0.7 when you started, yes or no. But the Decipher issue is becoming, and maybe the AI prostate determinant issue, as to saying what your future holds with regard to recurrence and mortality. So, this is above my clinical pay grade because it's just moving so quickly and it's hard to keep track of. But Decipher sounds to me to be pretty up to date and conclusive.
Yeah. So I think you got to go with your radonc here, and they seem to be seeing the issues that we would want to raise, and they're going to give you an educated decision on whether to extend the 6 months. And don't be surprised if they do. And my own, if it were me, I'd be doing longer if I felt I needed to. I wouldn't fight it as much as it seems good. I mean, I didn't have surgery, I had radiation, but I look back in retrospect and I'm so pleased I did 28 months that first time around. I wasn't pleased at the time, but it paid off in spades for me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And,
Okay.
you know, the other thing that we can't forget too, he has that ATM gene mutation. I don't know
that's
if
right.
that adds into that, you know, that adds into it too.
Well, I think what it does is it just puts you in a higher risk category for possible greater metastasis. That's all.
I see. Yeah.
Anybody else have anything? Dr. Alfredo.
Yeah, I was just going to comment. I have no expertise with this, but I'm aware from talking to a number of other people that the cost of the Decipher test is often an issue. There seems to be huge variations in which insurance companies will pay and which won't, and what the communication is. And the only consistent theme I can extract from this is that sometimes your physician has to resubmit. So in other words, he'll order the test or she'll order the test, you get the test, oh, lo and behold, there's a $3,000 bill, a $5,000 bill, multi-$1,000 bill. Speak to the doctor who says, oh no, I'm going to write them a letter. And suddenly the bill becomes $600 or $300. So I just wanted to kind of raise a question there that Decipher has some cost, and sometimes that's pretty controversial. That's all.
Oh, the Decipher. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Steve Rue.
Yeah, what Dr. Fredo just said was precisely exactly what happened in my case. The doctor simply wrote the letters and the Decipher was paid for and taken care of.
Okay.
And Decipher's pretty good about that from what we've heard before, that they'll forgive the patient portion if they're getting something from you. But then it also depends, I think, Steve, in your case, you were on Medicare when they ordered the Decipher or not? Oh, you weren't. Okay.
That was
so even
pre-Medicare.
Okay, even better. So just contest it or come back here and talk to us and we'll hold your hand through that as well. No extra charge, Lisa.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm gonna keep moving on, and the next person on my list is we've got another care partner pair. We got Mark and Kathy.
Hello, we're in Tucson right now at.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We're on the west side at Sweetwater and Silverbell, but I don't think we're leaving Monday, Rick, so I don't think we'll be able to visit AnCan World Headquarters. But
Okay, I'm sorry to say that, but okay. Have you seen any good birds?
What have we seen?
The dick sissel.
Oh, this migrating bird called a dick sissel, and that was our first time seeing that, and American red star. So we've seen a few, unusual. We were at Catalina State Park today, and a beautiful, beautiful area.
Okay.
So Rick, just kind of for a little bit of a background, not too much, but 18 months ago, I had a PSMA PET scan, and it identified 2 lesions on my lumbar and rib, and I had 5 SBR treatments and 6 months of Eligard, and that drove my PSA to undetectable. 5 months ago, my PSA started rising, and when it got to 0.42, I had another PSMA PET scan, and a sternum metastases was found with the SUV value of 8.4. So 3 months ago, my PSA had risen to 0.76, and I had 3 SBRT treatments of my sternum. Now, I also enrolled in the Promethean study, and that study was for people like me that had SBRT treatment, and then they would get either, it was a double-blind study, they would get either Religulix or a placebo.
for 6 months. Now I'm convinced that I got the placebo because I haven't had any hot flashes at all. So I'm almost positive I'm on the placebo. So anyway, 2.5 months after my SBRT for the sternum lesion, my PSA, it actually rose from 0.76 to 0.81. Now, we had heard that when you kind of blast, you know, the tumor, that it can kind of cause this PSA to kind of be dispersed and broken up. So there could be like an initial bump up of PSA. But 2.5 months after the SBRT, it seems strange to us that, you know, my PSA has gone up from 0.76 to 0.81. So I guess my first question is this expected or unexpected? That was kind of my first question about this.
So my response is yes, there can be a flare as a result of radiation. In your case, it wasn't extensive radiation, but it isn't a huge flare either. You know, it's less than 10%, and yes, it can take time. Okay. If it were me, I would not be that concerned. I mean, if you'd gone from 0.76 to 1.25 at this point, yeah, I'd have some concern. But I think it's that's how I would see it. We'll when you've given us the other one, we'll open it up to everybody and see what other people think. Mm-hmm. What's the other part?
The other part, yes. So Dr. Chang's ARNP that we saw, his plan was to wait for 3 more months to have another PSA test. So that was, I guess, kind of this leads into how aggressive do we want to be and at what point? So that's kind of the gist of my question. You know, like I'm a little nervous. The PSA went up. So like by waiting for the 3 months before another PSA test, am I like foregoing treatment that I could have now, or should I just wait for the 3 months and then action could be taken whatever we find in 3 months?
Well, first of all, there's a lot of options. Given how you feel, it does sound like you got the placebo, but you may not have gotten the placebo. If you hadn't have gotten the placebo, if you did not get the placebo, everything is doing great. If you did get the placebo, I'd be slightly more concerned because the ADT would be coming into play. I just think we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We've just got to see when is this going to be unblinded to you?
I'm about 3.5 months into it. So yeah, 2.5 more months I have on this study. And at that point, I'll have not only another PSA test, but a testosterone test also.
Okay. And they will unblind you at that point in time.
That's a good question.
We better ask.
Yeah, we better ask about that. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but I'll ask.
Yeah, and did they measure your testosterone at the beginning of the trial? Do you know what it was?
Well, let's see. My last testosterone was, let's see, I've got it right here. It was when I had the last one was when I had my PSMA test 5 months ago. It was 131.
Okay. I'm just sort of surprised they don't measure it at the time they give you the first pill, whatever that pill is. Again, it's because so many med-oncs just don't take testosterone as seriously as us patients do, and we know this. It's hard. There are some who do, but there's a lot who don't. And we think it's much more important, if for no other reason, that you should know your baseline in case you got the relugolix.
Yeah.
My bottom line on all of this would just hang in. Don't get yourself too concerned. Let's see how we do for the next 2.5 months, and then huddle. What do other people say? Dr. John has something to say.
I'd like to agree with Rick. I'd like to hear what my colleagues have to say about this, but I would consider 0.76 and 0.81 to be the same.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Anybody else have anything, any words of comfort, advice, anything they'd like to say to Mark and Kathy?
I think John hit it right on the head. Those are the same number.
Okay.
You know,
Okay, thanks.
Quite a while to figure out what the individual's trend line really is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think each of us has a certain amount of static, and our numbers bounce around.
Mm-hmm.
And what might be a significant rise for me might not be the same for you. So I think
Thanks.
Leonardo.
Yes, thank you, Rick. My screen is doing funny things.
Yeah, mine too, but it's
okay.
back.
So having just participated in a clinical trial myself, I asked when it's a double blind, and I asked when will it be unblinded, and they said not till the end of the trial.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I don't know if that's true for every trial. Maybe it's just the one I happen to be in. But,
I think that's typical myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless, of course, there's crossover, but even that could be blinded.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rick. I think your advice sounds sound to me. Thank you.
Well, it's not my advice because I can't be giving you advice.
Yeah. But what you're saying makes sense to me.
Okay.
And Dr. John too. Thank you, Dr.
Yes, and especially because we've got at least 4 doctors in this room today. I don't, unless Dr. Russ came in, who did a very nice job explaining Activin A to us. We've only got 4, so I got to be real careful. Otherwise, I could cause a revolt amongst my medical brethren here, and we don't want that. But yes, hang in.
Okay.
And check. Steve Rue, you have your hand up. Steve Rue.
That's the other Steve R. He's muted.
Sorry, I was muted. I wanted to know whether you are precluded from getting your own testosterone tested during the trial, so that you is that a requirement?
You sneaky bugger! You sneaky bugger, counselor.
If you got your own testosterone tested, you should know right away whether you have Orgovitz or not, assuming it's working.
I'm not going to comment, but it's a heck of a suggestion.
That is a good suggestion.
We've thought about it.
We've thought about it.
I love it. I love it, counselor. I love it. I love it. It's a very good suggestion. We will make no comments, nor will we ask our medical brethren to comment on it either. So, because we don't want to put them in that. All right.
I think I'd like to just say that I think you can figure out your testosterone levels by counting the number of your body hairs.
Yes, that's a good point.
If you have 150 body hairs, then your testosterone level is 150.
There you go.
I lost my body hair somewhere along the path of life.
Okay, well, this is good because we've had 2 people who had to drop off already who wanted time. So we're down to just, I think, 2 more people who need time, which is, I lucked out. How about that? So we've got Dr. Jack and Bob S. And then if anybody else needs time, then we can probably hand you. So Dr. Jack, you're up next.
I'm seeing my primary physician he uses Quest Lab. So I had all my blood drawn, and 4 weeks ago at Sylvester, I was concerned about my testosterone coming back at 10.7. Jeff Marchi pointed out that it could be adrenal trickle, and I should check that out. And how do you do that? And I found out how to do that, and I got a FSH and a LH, and I also tested my adrenal with adrenostenedione and DHEA. The DHEA came in low, which is good. It's not adrenal trickle. I didn't get the androstenedione yet. That's pending. But the FSH came in quite high. It came in at F53, which is very high. The luteinizing hormone came in at 13, which is high, but not that high. So the big bounce with the FSH had me somewhat concerned about, well, it's good news that my gonads are functioning again after 2 years of being suppressed with doublet therapy. But the question is, are my Sertoli cells dying or dead, or is that why I have such a good bounce? Because they're, or will they come back to life? And I'm going to have to watch the FSH and see whether or not it continues to rise or starts to come back as the testosterone comes up. My testosterone at this new lab was 23. 4 weeks ago was 10.7. That could be a good sign unless there's such a difference in the laboratories. So my PSA, fortunately, still is undetectable, and my estradiol is less than 15. I'm not sure I know what that means. But 7 months now, I've been on a holiday, and it's also my absolute neutrophils at this lab came back at 2.86. At Sylvester 4 weeks ago, they were 1.46. I was concerned about my marrow being suppressed, and all the labs were different. My hemoglobin was back to normal, platelets, white count, everything started to bounce at Quest. So I felt, a little optimistic about that, unless the lab is so different. So I just have to wait and see what happens over time. Hopefully my PSA will stay non-existent and my testosterone will rise slowly, and my FSH will start pulling back, and it will show signs that things are moving on a healthy course for my testicles, and the adrenals are not factoring in. So that's sort of a catch-up on where I am. I thought maybe, sharing it would be of some value.
Any comment from anyone in here?
I think that's so interesting. It went by a little too fast for me to think about all the feedback loops governing the concentrations of these different hormones and their effects on our lives. But if you wouldn't mind maybe sending me that stuff, I'd like to spend some time figuring it out, because
Sure.
I'm just not fast enough to do it now.
Well, let me summarize the FSH, because that's where it gets complicated. The bounce is a result of the negative loop to the pituitary all these years. And suddenly it's very suppressed, and it's compensating with a big bounce because it's been so absent as far as testosterone. Okay, so now the question is, will it start to recede? And if it starts to recede, that's a good sign that there's healthy testicular production of testosterone. If, on the other hand, it continues to rise, the FSH, it's not a good sign for my testicles. It may mean testicular failure. The old guy at 86 doesn't have the balls that are going to respond in a healthy fashion. And I'll have to just live with that reality. which a lot of us do, from what I've heard in this group.
And therefore, the tiny bit of testosterone that you do have will be adrenal or in origin?
No, it's probably coming from the pituitary, not the adrenal. I've got adrenal
No,
very
the
little.
testosterone, I mean.
Testosterone is not coming from the adrenal.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would be lower. It wouldn't have doubled in 4 weeks.
Yeah,
It would have been
yeah.
much flat. Yeah. So I'll send you what I have. Any other thoughts?
I mean, not just to get into the weeds, I don't understand why you have any serum estradiol with a testosterone of 20, because estradiol comes from testosterone, and you need a testosterone close to 100 to start generating some estradiol. So, but that's getting into the weeds.
No, but I don't have any estradiol. It said less than 15.
Oh, less than. Okay, I thought you said 15. Sorry. Correction.
No, if I did, that was a mistake. It's a good question. Thank you.
We were just checking to see if you were paying attention, Dr. Paul. And he was, of course. Okay, yes, and Julian, you have your hand up.
Jack, how long have you been off your meds?
It'll be 7 months on the 21st.
Okay. And your testosterone was where at this time?
It's right now 23. 4 weeks ago it was 10.7.
Yeah, I'm on that journey right now.
It's been 0 for almost 2 years.
Yeah. If you get time, I'd like to talk about testosterone, Rick.
Okay. All right. Let me go to, let me move on to Bob, and then we can come back to you, Julian, because other people have vacated. So, Bob, maybe you can talk to me about something that I understand better than these hormonal issues, which leave me a little bit behind.
Okay, first thing I want to do is I want to thank everyone who has been a proponent of the Embr wave. I was skeptical from the beginning. I was very leery of it. That's just my background. I'm skeptical of most things. And a big shout out to Jeff Marchi because I got it. And my wife was the final one that pushed me over to get it. I've had it for about 10 days now. It works good. I just look forward to the time when they come out with one that automatically detects when you're having a hot flash versus having to turn the button on. But that's in the future. But for right now, it does help, and I will now support it. So I just want to thank you on that. On the other thing, as a personal note, I'd like to thank all past members and all current members, especially the moderators. I just had my second PSA test since ending chemo, which is about 5 months ago. And my reading is 0.05, which their labs consider undetectable. So a big shout out to everybody. Thank you.
Well, that's really good. We're very happy that your testosterone, that your PSA is so low. That is wonderful. I'm assuming you are you're still on the ADT, correct? And
yes,
whatever you're taking
Eligard
with you.
and
Eligard and Nubeca. Okay. And hopefully that the gizmo will work well for you.
It is right now within the first 10 days, like I said. And, I'm thankful. My wife found this group, and this group has been beneficial to me, even though I question, and believe me, I will tell you, I question things and I have to check them out. That's just the way I am. I'm skeptical of almost anything. You tell me something's there, I want to make sure it's there. And I'll do it 3 ways from Sunday to make sure it's there. But thank you very much to everyone. Seriously.
I don't know if Eric's still with us in Santa Cruz, but that's another that's another thumbs up for the Embr. And yes, you should check everything, especially Bob, anything I say. All right. that should definitely be checked out. It won't be long before you'll be able to have a cup of coffee with Len in person either.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm
when-
looking
when
forward to it when it comes down here. I really am. You know, to see my Venice Island brother and come down here.
Yep. Looking forward to it also, Bob. You know, you're right. Trust but verify, right? Remember Reagan said that about Gorbachev. Trust
When
but
are you-
verify.
When are you heading south, Len?
Probably sometime in first week in November. I still got some
Okay.
follow-up on the cataract surgery, so I can't leave earlier.
Okay. But
Thank
now
you
you
very
can
much.
see us all clearly, right, Len?
Yes, pretty good. As long as we're at this distance, it's set for computer distance.
So what happens if we're not at computer distance? You have to wear spectacles?
Yes, but like when I drive, I have to wear glasses and I have to use, you know, my right eye, the eye that wasn't operated on.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Bob, for the kudos. We're really happy at this end, given everything you went through, and you had a rough time, and we saw it and we got it, and God bless you for coming through it with flying colors. Really happy. So all good, and also pleased that the Embr's working well for you. All right, I am going to go to Julian because Julian wanted to talk. We don't have anybody. Was there anybody who asked for time and I haven't called on them before I go to Julian? I don't think so. I don't see a hand up anywhere. So Julian, what's on your mind? You're still muted, Julian.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Anyway, I was on Orgovex and Nubeca about almost 4 years ago with Dr. E. And in August of 2022, it was less than 10. And then in March, it went up to 123. And June 7th, it was 155. And then it backed down to 127. So, and then it went up to 149, 107, 75. And December of last year was 156. When I measured it October, first of this month, it was 80. Don't know what's going on there.
Well, the one thing I do know about testosterone, and Dr. Paul just left, so we can't get his input, but I suspect Jack knows quite a bit about this too, is that it fluctuates like crazy. And so it's not, I mean, it can fluctuate 200 or 300 points if you have that. If you are at a level of like 700, it can be 400 or 500 one time in the day, and another time in the day it could be 800 or 900. So the fact that it's flopping around like this between 80 and 150 or 170 is, I would say, it's in keeping with what testosterone does and the time of day that you measure it. The second thing I'd say is, if you want to try and get it up, then get your testosterone level up, then you need to touch base with Dr. E and see what she's got to say about that, because if she thinks you can do it, she'll definitely help you with it. Have you spoken to her about the
Yes,
tea?
I did, and she just said that we need to watch it a little bit more, and she did not recommend any supplements for increasing the testosterone because she's concerned that the PSA may rise.
So, you know, I mean, I think that's sort of that's the definitive word. Anybody else have experience where they want to share with Julian with these lower levels with the testosterone going up and down like this?
Let me agree with you on that, Rick. You know, it really depends on when you take it during the day. The fluctuation is huge. It's pulsatile, okay? And you should always take your testosterone first thing in the morning. Get your blood test. I wouldn't take it any other time. Yeah.
I
And
did.
there is some doctors are willing, rather than to supplement you with testosterone, if you're willing to take the risk, they're willing, they put you on Clomid. CLOMID, and you can discuss that with the doctor. And some believe that may be a safer way than to supplement testosterone itself, but there's always the risk of PSA rising.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, Len.
Yes, Julian. I've also, well, mine's been a one-way street. I've been on drug holiday all this year, and I've seen my testosterone drop from, I think it was about, oh, it was over 200 early in the year. Now it's down to, the last one is 99. I just had a blood test today, but I don't have the results, which is really puzzling to me. And I'm wondering if I go back on Nubeqa, I wonder if the testosterone would rise, right? Because when you take an androgen receptor blocker, the T levels usually go up. So I don't know, Jack, do you have any ideas what's going on there?
Yeah, it would go up, but they'd have nowhere to go and give you this illusion that you've got testosterone that's working for you, but it's not going to work for you if you have no receptors to land on.
Yeah, that's
right?
a good point. Yeah.
Where's your level right now, Len? 99, did you
Well,
say?
99, yeah, it's been cut in half over the past year, and I haven't been on therapy. I'm going to see Dr. O in about a week or so. Maybe he come up with an explanation for that.
Boca Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that if you went back on darolutamide, that you'll block it and your testosterone will go up. I mean, I've been doing apalutamide monotherapy for years, and like clockwork, when you go on apalutamide, testosterone rises, and when you come off, testosterone falls. So I would guess, since you've been off darolutamide, it's slowly creeping back down, and if you went back on it, you'd probably see it go up. In the ordinary course, it may be different, but I think that's what I would expect.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so I can go on, get it up, and then go off, and it'll still be up there. It can be put to use, maybe.
Well,
but
that's what I
it'll
call
start drifting down again.
I call that my mini bat, so that when I come off of apalutamide, I have a lot of testosterone. It's like 700 to 800, and it washes all the prostate cancer cells with fresh testosterone and resensitizes them. And then when I go back on apalutamide, block it again and repeat that process.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing scientific about it, but that's just what I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Why does it go up? Because the receptors are being blocked, so they send back a message, make more testosterone.
No, I think they're being blocked, but just as Dr. Jack says, they can't get into the cell because they are being blocked. So the testosterone just remains in the bloodstream. So when you measure it, there's just a lot of testosterone in the bloodstream, not going anywhere.
Yeah. It's not so much you're making more; it's that you're producing it at the same level, but you're not using it because it's blocked, and that's what sends it up. I see. That would make sense. Okay. Any other testosterone discussion? Yes, John Maxwell.
I had my I wanted to get my testosterone checked right before I started on Orgovix, but we didn't do it, and I was in a hurry, and I felt bad. I should have gotten it done. But like in 2020, my testosterone was last checked, and it was like 458. Is that even relevant?
I'm going to ask somebody else to comment on that. Maybe one of the doctors in the room.
Relevant as far as what?
Is it a meaningful benchmark for what I can recover? But it's from 2020.
Are you taking medication?
Taking Orgovix and abiraterone.
You are taking them right now in your, or you
Right, so
every gosh darn day.
Yeah, so let me just present the question again. The question is, John's now on medication, his testosterone is negligible, but back in 2021, which was the last time he recalls getting his testosterone measured, it was around 450. Can he use that 450 as a decent baseline for where he is right now?
Well, theoretically, it's been said the higher your testosterone is before you start treatment, the greater the chances are of recovery, especially if you're younger. That's all I can say about that.
All right. So, Dr. John, would you rely on a 4-year-old testosterone number, notwithstanding the drugs John's taking today?
So the 4-year-old testosterone was before any anti-androgen treatment, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. So in that case, that's your baseline. Yes. And if you never got prostate cancer and never got on ADT, what would your testosterone level be right now? Well, it would be 400 and something, minus a little for aging, because, every 10 years we drop by a certain number of points just as normal aging.
Okay, that's reasonable. Thank you. That gives me a little bit of clarity, which I appreciate. Thank you.
Okay. All right, guys. Anything else? Otherwise, we're going to close the room on time. How about that? But that's only because Jay Mills and Michael Wolf dropped out, and that would have been a good 15 minutes. So we didn't do a great job getting through the newbies as quickly as we should have done, but we got lucky coming down the home straight.
Rick, I have a quick question before we
yes.
Yes. I was never on abiraterone. I went right to darolutamide and Orgovix for 2 years. The fact that I've never been on abiraterone, does that lend any credence to the possibility that when my adrenals didn't show any signs, my testosterone, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. The adrenals are affected by abiraterone. I've never had abiraterone. Does that mean any adrenal trickling of testosterone would be diminished by my taking darolutamide rather than abiraterone?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know because I know that one of the reasons abiraterone is used is because it addresses the testosterone that's made by the adrenals, and it also suppresses the adrenals. But how the adrenals respond to the blockers and what it does to them, that's well above my pay grade. Do one of the docs in the room want to address how they think a blocker might affect the adrenals? Dr. John or Dr. Alfredo?
I'll just speculate and say they would not affect the adrenals.
Where's your speculation coming from? What are you saying, John?
Because the mechanism of actions are different. I mean, the adrenals are going to do that, are going to be able to make testosterone molecules because their enzyme is uninhibited. And nothing that happens downstream at the level of action of an ARPI is going to affect the adrenals.
Right.
Len,
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. I don't even understand why they put abiraterone in the category of the ARPIs because to me, abiraterone is like a super Lupron, super ADT drug. All it does is prevent the synthesis of testosterone anywhere in your body. It doesn't block any receptors. So
No.
I've never quite
Because
understood.
it's a second line it's a second line against the production of androgens. It's not an androgen blocker, and we talk about anti-androgens, and we talk about androgen receptor signal or pathway inhibitors, and it does fall into that category, but it's not an androgen blocker. It does exactly what you just said, Len. And it's an alternative. So, you know, I see where Dr. John's coming from. I would say, I don't know why it should affect the adrenals. I'd also say that it could be an alternative for you to use if ever you needed it. I don't know. Dr. Alfredo, you put your mic on and then you shut it off pretty quick there. Do you have anything to add as our resident internist?
I shut it off because I didn't have anything to add to what John said.
Aha.
So he beat me. I agree.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Jack.
Okay, for now, sure, thanks.
All right, Dan, you just came in. This meeting started 2 hours ago. It's a Tuesday meeting. Our Tuesday meetings start early. Our Monday meetings start later. It's always been that way.
I've been here all along. I just
No. I'm talking to Dan M from New
Dan
York.
Moore. Yeah.
Dan Moore. Yeah. So sorry, you gotta read the reminder. But it's good to see you. Next Monday, Len's in the hot seat, and the meeting will start at 8 o'clock Eastern and not 6 o'clock Eastern. And then the following Tuesday, 2 weeks from today, we don't know who's going to be in the hot seat quite yet, but it will start. We do know it will start at 6 o'clock Eastern. That bit we know. And I am going to close the meeting, but I'm not going to ask. I'm going to turn off the recording. I'm going to ask my colleague, Mr. Koo, Bill Franklin, to remain. Mr. Koo, because he's our chief operating officer, so we call him Mr. Koo. All right, so I'm going to close the meeting for everybody. Turn off the recording now. Goodbye, folks.